Hi, I'm Michelle Chalfant, psychotherapist, holistic life coach, and human just like you, learning to navigate life's challenges. With over 25 years experience, I teach people how to get healthy using the adult chair model. The adult chair model is where simple psychology meets grounded spirituality, and it teaches us how to become healthy adults. From anxiety and depression to codependency and relationship issues, you can use the adult chair for just about anything. Each week, I share practical tips, tools, and advice from myself and a wide range of experts on how to get unstuck, how to live authentically, and how to truly love yourself, all while sitting in your adult chair. Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast. I am Michelle Chalfant, sitting here chatting with you from my adult chair, where we talk all about living from an emotionally healthy adult perspective. You know, a lot of people talk about being physically healthy. We need to get emotionally healthy, and that's what we do here in the adult chair. And we're doing it big time today with our guest, Traver Boehm. I can't wait to tell you all about Traver. But I first want to tell you, we're coming up on, I should say, being that we're in September. This is the time where, you know, summer's kind of ending. We're moving into fall, and then we go inward. And that's why I'm kicking off September, or the fall, with being a self-care badass. Yes. This is what we're doing all month long in the membership. It is so much more than just going out and getting a massage, although that could be a form of self-care. But this whole month, I am talking and teaching you how to connect deeply within yourself so that you can learn what you truly need on the emotional level of self-care. Self-care is essential to healthy living. So come check it out and join us at theadultchair.com/membership. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Traver. Okay, so I met Traver a few years ago in a very, very extreme experiential training, and we just connected right away. He is my brother from another mother. I just love Traver. And yeah, he's starting a men's movement, or has started a phenomenal men's movement. Here's the thing. You guys have been writing in about and asking me questions about what you can do with your brother, father, husband, partner, boyfriend, boss, etc. Some man in your life, in some aspect of your life. You know, how can you help them? They need to wake up. They need to get happy. They need to fill in the blank, whatever it might be. And that's why I sat there and I was thinking about all the questions that have been coming. And I said, you know what? It's time to have Traver on. I knew there would come a time and a day, and it is today. And his show today was awesome. Traver Boehm knows men, how they think, what's behind their behavior, and most importantly, their unique challenges in the modern landscape. Traver is the founder of the Uncivilized Men's movement, the fastest growing men's movement in the world. He is the author of Today I Rise and Man Uncivilized, as well as a 2-time TEDx speaker, men's coach, and podcaster. Drawing upon an eclectic background ranging from professional bodyguarding to mixed martial arts to a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine and meditation, Traver counsels men, women, and couples on how to better understand men's mental health and relationship difficulties. Yes, you heard me. Relationship difficulties. This is what he talks about today. Although he's not quite sure how to feel about the title, he has been dubbed the Man Whisperer. He has the unique ability to speak to men in a way that they can hear and understand. Let me just tell you, this guy knows his stuff. I think you're going to love this show. Here we go with Traver Boehm. Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast, Traver Boehm.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. This is a long time coming.
I know. We've been talking about this for almost, oh my gosh, it's almost been 2 years since I met you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say what we mentioned earlier, 2 years and 7 lifetimes since
Yes,
the last
many,
time we
many
connected.
lifetimes.
Yeah.
No doubt about that one. No doubt about that one. Well, I would love to start with a little bit of your story. You have an incredible story, and I would like people to understand who you are and how you got to be the uncivilized man and start this
Mm.
whole movement. Really, I want to hear about that because you've had a really remarkable journey.
Yeah, I'll give you the quick and dirty backstory, I guess, is and a lot of people will probably be able to put themselves into this story. I was, and I don't say this egoically, Michelle, like I was the guy who had it all. I had the business that I wanted. It was making a ton of money. It was easy to come to. It was community oriented. I was married to, at the time, I thought the woman of my dreams. We had a child on the way. Like my life was check every single box you can hit. And very quickly, in a short amount of time, that all went away. My ex miscarried and then took that as a sign from the universe that our marriage should be over. My
Mm,
business partnership ended essentially the next day. And those two occurrences are not connected. So
wow.
it's just, that's how all of us, I just hit that point where life went, okay, let's rip the rug out from under you because the path you're on is not the path you're supposed to be on. And so I spent a year sitting on a couch, miserable, depressed, talking to different sets of attorneys and trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with my life and how did this all happen. And also a bit of like, woe is me and blaming everybody. It was all their fault and her fault and his fault. And then I decided to do a really unique experiment. And I dedicated the next year of my life to what I called the Year to Live project. And so think about this. All of a sudden, I went to no kid, no wife, no business, and a lot of open space. And my business partner, when the business sold, I got a paycheck for the next 2 years. So I'm also funded. So I decided to spend all of 2016 living as if it were my last year alive. And like really, like people listen to this, not the cocktail version of that, of like I'd go see the Eiffel Tower and I would, try to
Right.
check some fun boxes. I volunteered in hospice. I locked myself in a pitch black room for a month as a meditation exercise. I lived in the woods for a month with a survival school. Did a bunch of leadership work. Got my family together. Healed some old relationships. Like did the actual work. All the work that I probably hadn't done in the first 40 years of my life. I had 2 frames for that year, and then we can move forward. The frame one was, what would I really want to do if on December 31st at midnight, I would take my last breath? Like really, what would my soul need to do? My heart need to do? And then part 2, like, please, fingers crossed, this isn't actually going to come true. What will I need to carry into the next 40 years? Will be different first 40. Now I'm 5 years removed from that experiment and truly look at it as the hero's quest of my life, or the call to consciousness, the call to awakening. I look at the first 40 years of my life as very unconscious. I drank a lot, I smoked a lot of dope, I looked at a lot of porn, I overexercised, I avoided everything. That was your classic American dude. Like, why do I need to engage with pain? I'm like, clearly I'm doing well. My business makes money. I'm married. Like I'm in great shape. Like if you want to challenge me, challenge my results, but please don't peek behind the curtain. And
Yes.
I
I love
like,
that. I love that.
oopsie, right? And that year was like, oh, we're just going to rip the curtain down. Okay. So it started a path of looking at myself, looking at my pain, looking at my trauma, looking at my wounding, looking at my relationship patterns, looking at my attachment patterns, looking at everything.
Mm.
And in the process of this, I wrote a book about divorce called Today I Rise. And it
Mhm.
was just my story. I'm actually in the house I wrote it in here in New York, which it's just funny. It's my buddy's house. I was living here kind of as a recovery after divorce or after that year. And my best friend said, you need something to do. Like I was back into being depressed. I was like, it's still getting divorced. It was just some tail end stuff that was hard. He said, I want you to write 90 individual letters to the you who woke up and found out your wife was leaving. And I was like, boom. I spent 6 weeks furiously typing, published it. And what do you know? Men started reaching out to me.
Wow.
And my background professionally was I owned a gym. I was an acupuncturist. I was very much in a female employed idea, right? Women hired me to help them lose weight. Women hired me to help them get strong. Women hired me to stick needles in them. I was a bit of a life coach. Women hired me to help them with their lives. Men didn't. So this was a curiosity to me. Like, what the hell are all these guys doing? And since I had that space in my life at the time, almost anybody who reached out to me, I would reply with, please give me your phone number. I would love to hop on a call with you. And so for 6 months, Michelle, I just talked to men. Like, hey, what's really going on with you? Oh, your wife's leaving. Okay. Oh, your wife left. Okay. Your kids don't talk to you. This is the third time you've been to AA. Oh, you just crashed your car. Other partners in your firm are going to kick you out. Okay. What's going on with you? And because I was a dude, right? Like my background is very hyper masculine. I ran a gym. I was a professional MMA fighter. I was a bodyguard. I speak dude.
Yeah.
But yet had the evolution through the consciousness training to say, hey, do you know what? I don't think you have a relationship issue. You have an integrity issue. I don't think you have an addiction issue. You have a full expression issue. I think you're apologizing for being alive. I think you have terrible boundaries. I don't think you know enough other men. And that's why you're surrounded by women. So you're influenced by the feminine and not like all of this stuff, which I was kind of shocked was coming out of my mouth. And yet at some point, right, this is the $1 million statement. One of these guys said, you know, you should really charge for these calls. I was like, charge what? Like for what? I'm just like, bro, like, what do you mean? A business? And I sat on that and then started talking to men. And so I had this idea of like, I'll have a coaching program, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't really taking off. And then here's the $1 million story. I had moved from this house in Southampton to Brooklyn, New York, and was living with another guy I'd spoken with at TED. And here was the deal. I was like, I just got chills, Michelle, as I know it's the right story.
Love it.
I move into this giant building in Brooklyn. I go, I'm going to start a men's group here. Never done this before. Don't even know why I want to do it. I just feel compelled to do it. And so I put it on Meetup. I put it on Facebook. I threw it out. I put advertisements up, flyers up. And I'm imagining that I'm like going to walk into a room and it's going to be like a Tony Robbins workshop, you know? I might've been a little ahead of myself. So go downstairs, open the door, and there's one guy. There's one human in this room. And I'm an optimist. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got my one guy. And I'll tell you, I don't think I took a breath for 45 minutes. I just unloaded on this individual of like, the masculine does this, the feminine does this. You need the boundaries and the mountain and the calm and the groundedness and the penetration and blah, 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 blah. And I went to take my breath. He goes, hey man, I just want to tell you, I've been following you on social media for a couple of years now. I know you're into fitness and I really need to lose 15 pounds. I went, okay, this is cool. Like I've done this. So I took my new like men's hat off and I put my old fitness hat on.
Yeah. And
started having a conversation with him. That's long story short. He goes, I can't lose weight because I can't not go to McDonald's. And I went, oh, well, I'm going to solve your problem here in 3.5 seconds. Never step foot in a McDonald's again. Right? Like, he's like, I love their breakfast burritos. It's like simple thing. Just never go. He goes, I can't not go. Their coffee is the best in the world. And so I put my hands down in my head and I contemplated my life for about 5 seconds. And I was like, so you have me undivided attention. And essentially I'm competing with a French press. Like, this is like, I will go to Amazon. I will buy you a French press. This will solve your problem. But this is, I didn't know it at the time. This was the seed of everything. So we, shook hands, gave him a hug, off he went. And I go back up to my apartment And I tell the guy I'm living with at the time, like, man, this guy just wasted my time. You know, he just wanted to lose weight. He just can't go to McDonald's, blah, 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 blah. And I'm kind of like, like in a state. And we carry on and have a different conversation where my friend and I then spend the evening talking about some stuff that happened in his past, my relationship to my dad, like real stuff. We have an intimate conversation. And we get up the next morning around 5 to go to the gym. There's a gym in the basement. We're 2 athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sitting there making a cup of coffee and goes, hey, just out of curiosity, when was the last time you ate McDonald's? And I said, man, I don't eat that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's civilian food. And he goes, it literally takes his camera out of his back pocket. I remember this, and starts filming me. He's an internet person too. And I said, tell me, what do you mean civilian food? I said, brother, take a look at this apartment. We're 2 very successful men. There's not a TV in this apartment.
Mm-hmm.
There's no drugs in this apartment. There's no alcohol in this apartment. We spent the evening talking about painful relationships and are up at 5 a.m. We're about to go throw ourselves down a flight of stairs in the gym. This is not how civilized men live. And I don't want to be civilized.
Yeah.
He's like, cool. Put his phone away. Down we went. And the whole time I was working out with him, I was thinking like, wait, what is this word? And why is it playing with me?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it about what I just said? I just got chills again. And I remember thinking, civilized is the volume is turned down. It's vanilla. It's numb. Yeah. I don't want to get kicked out of a system at 60, 100 pounds overweight on multiple medications with kids who won't talk to me, a wife who doesn't want to have sex with me. This seems to be the standard track. Yeah. I want to be primally savage. Like I want to be able to F things up in the world and have a deep sense of consciousness, have a deep understanding and a literacy in emotion and relationship and intimacy and energetics and all of that. And what if we took this idea and I put those 2 together, primal savagery and a deep connection to your heart? Ooh. That to me is uncivilized. And so I like bopped back upstairs with my new idea. I was all excited, right? And I throw this out on social media of like, hey guys, you know, it seems like the male world has 2 options. You get to either go to a workshop on how to be a Navy SEAL, or you get to go to a workshop run by like vegan feminist poets. And what if we, no offense to either group, but I don't want it that binary. So I said, what if we put this together and we combine the primal and the divine? I'm going to do this. I'm going to call it Uncivilized. And Michelle, my life changed forever. My inbox exploded. My email exploded. Men and women were saying, like, this is what we've been waiting for. Yes. So off we go to the races. So long story to a short question, but that's who I am. And now this is, 3 years later, there's thousands of people following it. I've got live groups all over the world, a robust membership. I have teams. I'm teaching coaches. This, like, it caught. I just got chills again. Whatever the reason it was packaged that way, I think spoke to something that was long ago, had never been spoken to in a way that men wanted to hear. That's what we hit on. Right. I'm an ex-cage fighter. I have effed up ears. I use poor language, right? Like I know how to work out. I can change a tire. I like chopping wood. I can shoot a gun. So for whatever reason in the male world, that gives men permission to listen to me when I say, you actually have to feel your heart. It's okay to be in pain. You actually have to work through this pain. I'm sorry you haven't been given permission societally, culturally to feel this pain or express this pain. But brother, it is killing you. It is killing your marriage. It is killing your kids. It is literally killing everything about you and around you. So come with me. Let me take these big, strong arms and wrap them around you and hold you in a way you've never been held before. All right, now let's get to effing work.
Oh, wow.
That's what I do.
You're the perfect man.
Really? I am far from the perfect man. My partner's downstairs. I can bring her up here. And she'll be like,
no, he's not.
Let's, how much time do you guys have?
No, but I'm sure that so many people are listening like, yes, yes. Because it's beautifully spoken. What you just said is so beautiful. It's not just, it's like the perfect blend of masculine and feminine energy. That's what's missing with men. There's such unhealthy masculine energy in the world right now. You know, when you think about men, you think about the guys that are, watching sports on the weekends, getting drunk, doing fantasy football, all that crap.
Mhm.
But they're missing. And that's not that there's anything wrong with that. That's fine. Absolutely fine. But the part I think that has been missing, that thank God you're here to wake men up, is going into the heart
Mhm.
and really becoming conscious of who they are, of their relationships, of doing their work.
Mhm.
You know how many people I hear from that say, and most of our audience is women, with a lot of men now following now too, but so many women will write in and say, I am on my path. I am on my journey. I am doing my work. What do I do when my husband, my boyfriend, my partner, my whomever doesn't want to wake up and do their work?
Mhm.
What do you say to those men? Or,
First,
I'm not going to
I speak to
exclude
the
men,
women.
but women
Yeah,
relationships. It's like, what if you're in a partnership and your
yeah.
partner doesn't want to do their work and they don't get it? That's the
It,
problem, Traver. They don't get it.
yeah, they
Yeah. So
don't.
what do you
Well,
say to
first,
that?
first I speak to the women and ask a really important question and just talk about the culture, which is, do you really want men woken up? And sit with this, right? I came, my book was written during Me Too, when every single thing a guy did was toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
whether he
Yeah.
opened the door or he didn't,
Yeah.
whether it doesn't matter. And I
Yeah.
started asking, you know, if we get rid of toxic masculinity, who's going to do our killing and dying for us? And that stopped a lot of the conversation, right? So culturally, Michelle, we have asked men to not feel
Mm-hmm.
up until this point. Can you imagine my grandfather getting ready to storm the beach at Normandy and being like, actually, you know what, turn the boat around. I just don't feel it today.
Yeah.
My heart is wide open. I love it. And like we don't do this. We can't.
Yeah.
Imagine if we asked the Chicago Police Department, hey, we just need you to follow your feelings for the next couple of weeks. We would be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to also understand that we have conditioned men to be like this for a
Mm-hmm.
very good reason. And so suddenly to turn the switch and say, oh, you want us emotional. Oh, you want us connected to our hearts. Okay, cool. Here's what the male collective is going to do tomorrow. We're not going to go to work. We're going to stop building roads. We're going to stop being firefighters. We're going to stop building buildings. We're going to stop being police. We're going to stop being garbage men and oil rig workers. We're going to stop doing all the things that you look away from when you say, God, we just need men in their hearts. So I say that first culturally, right? We're not quite ready for men to wake up that way. So let's just throw that out there. But I understand the frustration. And then I also say to women, our job, my job is in the external world, right? Men build the external world. We build the roads, we build the waterways, we build the electricity. This is what we've been tasked with.
Yeah.
So suddenly to say, take all of that and turn it inward, there's going to be a lag. And what you're experiencing right now, and women who are listening to this experiencing right now, you're experiencing the lag of like, whoa, wait a minute. We made a really fast decision. We want men woken up. Now we're cool. Now we're turning a barge and it's going to be 1%, every month. And I will speak to your direct question, but I also want to ask, I've done this in so many workshops where I've said to women, how many of you want a man who's more emotionally available and emotionally expressive? And every damn hand goes up in an instant. I'm like, cool. Okay, let me ask you something. How would you feel if your man broke down and cried twice a year? They're like, oh my God, that'd be so beautiful. It'd be so vulnerable. I'd feel so connected to him. Like, beautiful. How about once a month? They're like, oh, that'd still be great. And I was like, cool. How about once a week? Like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, how about every day? Like, well, I wouldn't feel protected. I wouldn't feel strong. I wouldn't think of him as you wouldn't respect him, would you? Okay, cool. So where's the fine line? Is it twice a month? Like, because we're logical creatures, us men folk. So
Right.
we're like, what is it? 2.3 tears per week, and we're solid here.
Yeah.
So we also have to say, do you really want what you want? Or do you actually just want someone to engage with you in the way that you want to be engaged with, which is emotionally?
Yeah.
Right? Men want to be engaged with logically. We don't have a vast movement of men being like, hey, you know what? Women need to be more logical, or we're going to get divorced. I need you to tell me baseball stats, or I'm not going to sleep with you. Like there's a bit of an entitlement that we also want to look at. Now,
Right.
let's address your specific question. What do we do if our partner doesn't wake up? We have two things that we have to ask ourselves. Is this a deal breaker? It is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? It is for a lot of people. I view it very similarly to, and this is going to upset a hell of a lot of people, I view it very similarly to monogamy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your sex life isn't good, for a lot of people, that's a deal breaker. For a small percentage of the people, it's okay then to create a new relational construct that says you can go outside the marriage and get that. Just like what men have done is saying, hey, I'm not asking you to be monogamous with me on the path, like spiritually monogamous. If you need to go to workshops on your own, that's okay. If you need to have partners who you talk spirituality, consciousness, depth of emotion with, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for most of us, the default position is monogamy, sexually and spiritually. So women are like, wait a minute, I don't want to have a separate crew of people that I can talk about my path with and then come home and go, so what's happening in fantasy football? Just like they wouldn't want their partner to come home and say, hey, I just had amazing sex with Susie the neighbor. I know you're not really into it, but I just went and did this thing because I need my needs to be taken care of.
Right.
So
Right.
I get it. This is where it gets controversial.
Right.
For a lot of people, they say it's a requirement for my partner to be on the path with me. That is my personal requirement. I can't date a woman, marry a woman who's not on the path.
Yeah.
So what do? You lead by example.
Yep. You model it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Men
You have to
learn
model
by
it.
modeling.
Yeah.
And you have an honest conversation, not in the middle of a fight, not in the middle of a ball game. It's like, I have a relationship conversation once a week with my partner. How are you doing? How am I doing? What did I do last week that you want more of? Where could I have supported you more? How could you have supported me more? We have these meetings because it's really important. It's a partnership. Like I had meetings with my old business partner. I have meetings with my business partners. It's important. And then suddenly come home and be like, we'll just wing this whole marriage thing. Like we don't need to talk. So I would then sit down with your partner, either male or female, listening to this and say, this is really important to me. I understand that it may not be your thing, but I need you to engage with me on it. I need it to be partly your thing. Michelle, I remember a woman at a workshop I went to, or I taught, who was, her husband was there, but she pulled me aside and the female co-teacher was like, he's not into this. And I don't know if I should stay or not in the marriage. And I said, what is he into? She's like, he's so into surfing and running his surf business. And I said, how often do you surf with him? It's like, I never surf with him. This is my thing. I was like, so wait a minute. He needs to be into your thing, but you don't need to be into his thing. And I saw the light bulb go off of like, oh, you're right. Oh, it's not fair for me to make my thing a requirement, but not have his thing be a requirement. And where did they meet in the middle? I was like, he's at this workshop. He's here. He's showing up. It's not his thing. Yeah. But he's here doing the work. Just like you may go to a surf camp and be like, this isn't my thing, but I'm out here. Like I'm doing my best. I'm trying. So where is that middle ground of a Venn diagram? Right? Very few of us are fortunate enough that my partner is on this path. Our dinner conversations are about consciousness. They're about spirituality. They're about meditation. Sure, they're also about like serial killers and guns. And occasionally she's from Chicago, like the Chicago Bears. It's a mix, but it's primarily about the path.
Yeah.
But I also think, and this is going to be hard for people to hear, If it's a deal breaker, it's got to be a deal breaker. Just like if non-monogamy was a deal breaker, you'd break it. Right? So you have to ask yourself, what do I want out of my partnership? Do I want an ally and a partner in this realm? And am I willing to be an ally and partner in his realm as well? If so, have an honest conversation. Be willing to risk the honest conversation. I think most people don't have that, men or women, because they're terrified that at the end of that conversation, the other person goes, thanks, I'm just not interested. Can I go back to my ball game?
Right.
Right. Or you're not interested in the ball game. Cool. Go back to your yoga, go back to your meditation practice. And then crap, we're going to grow apart, or we're not going to have this thing that's a bond. Did I answer your question? I feel like I ran off for a bit.
Yeah, you did. And then some. It was beautiful, really. What is, you talk about even an uncivilized woman. What does that mean?
To me, this is just an idea of take a look at the collective. Whatever they're doing that doesn't fit with you or you don't want the outcome of, don't do that. I don't eat like most people eat. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat processed food. I cook my own food. If possible, I hunt my own food or grow my own food. Why? Because I can see what the standard conventional track of eating is and what the result is, right? I don't have a standard conventional relationship. Why? Because I did have one and I got the standard conventional outcome, which was divorced, which was intimacy that wasn't there, which was a spotty sex life, which was poor communication, which was wounding all over each other. So I engage in my partnership in a very different way. I don't work out the way a lot of people work out. I don't go to a gym. I don't go to a dance class. I have my own training methodology that I put my body through. Why? I want the result that I want. And so an uncivilized woman is no different than an uncivilized man, in my opinion. Obviously, there's biological differences. Engaging with the primal part of you, the core essence of your feminine power.
What does that mean? Explain that a little bit.
For women?
Yeah.
This is actually...
Give me some examples.
You are constant movement. The feminine is constant movement. The feminine is full expression. The feminine is ever changing. The feminine is emotionally driven. The feminine is feeling based and body based. So what has society told you? Don't trust your feelings. Oh, and these things going on in your body, here's 722 pills that you can take to not have those feelings. Here's 1,400 pills for the side effects of those 722 pills, which you're also going to have, like the last 30 seconds of a commercial are going to be talking about like your eyes bleeding and like rectal prolapse, but not a worry. That's only in like 8% of the cases, right? So it's really about, to me, it's about ownership. You know why you're here, Michelle. I know you. You know your power. You know what you're here to do. To me, that's a beautiful blend of the masculine, of you know how to penetrate the world. You do it with your message, you do it with your teaching, you do it with your language, you do it with your words. Yet you're also wildly in your feminine. At no point knowing you was like, man, she is just like locked into this masculine mode of kicking ass and taking names and trying to have the biggest thing in the room. I don't get that sense from you, right? You're feeling based. And I guess to speak specifically to women, like actually let your body be the guide. Women's bodies are genius. They're genius. Like it's literally like you have an encyclopedia and a library and software and all that in your body that I don't.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking based. I'm logic based. I need to figure things out.
Yeah.
So an uncivilized woman, again, primal and divine. Are you connected to the cycles of nature? Are you connected to your own cycle? It still shocks me. And for people listening, I went through acupuncture school. I did 4 years of grad school with Chinese medicine. 90% of my patients in a clinic when I was working couldn't tell me when their period was. I'd be like, oh, actually, it's coming up in 2 weeks. I charted it from Latin. They're like, oh, cool, thanks. I don't really keep track of it. Or we're on some kind of birth control, which I have nothing against. I'm not a woman, so I've never taken it. But like that killed their period. Like, oh, I don't get a period. Like, that's not concerning to you that like, you don't, this is the most fundamental cycle on the planet,
Yeah.
the moon, your cycle, they're the same. Being
Mm-hmm.
in touch with that, being engaged with that, being unapologetic about that, to me is what an uncivilized woman is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Unapologetically
Yeah.
female,
Yeah.
Michelle. So my first ethos tenet, I have 12 ethos tenets for men. The first one is be unapologetically male.
Mm.
For you, same thing, unapologetic about being a woman in this world. I will not apologize for how I was born and how I exist in the world. I'm entirely responsible for it,
Yeah.
but not apologetic.
Yeah.
And yet we unashamed of being a woman, I would say, for women, because society has this brilliant way of just shaming you for everything.
I know. I
Oh,
agree.
are you over 5'2"? How dare you? Are you
Yeah.
under 5'7"? How dare you? Is that an actual hair on some part of your body? You should be ashamed. Is there not enough hair on some part? Like, you should be ashamed. Do you actually have, like, I can go on and on and on. I think there's just like a checklist of everything possible in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like, shame women for all of it.
Yeah.
So unashamed of being a woman.
Love it. What about, you talked about, I mean, you've done a lot of your work. I think that is, for me, again, I don't know why. I don't know if all women are like this. I'd like to hear what your take is on this. But for men that are listening, it's freaking sexy to me to have a man, to listen to a man that's done their work. Like, do your work, look inward. Don't project your shit all over me. Look inward, take responsibility. That's beautiful. So I hope the men that listen to this, look inside yourself. That is not overly feminine. There's nothing. Please tell us, like, that's for women, that's a sexy thing. Again, I don't need a man that's going to be ultra feminine. That's not who I'm attracted to. However, look inside. Tell us about, like, men doing their work, and how do you help men do that? I want to let men know it's really such a positive thing, not just for their relationships, but for themselves. What freaking person on this planet, Traver, does not have work to do? Is there
maybe the Dalai Lama? I don't know.
Okay. I don't even know. But I mean, give me a break. Like, everybody's got work to do. Everybody.
Yeah. You know, if we go back, Michelle, to kind of the tale that's being like, there's been a shift. So the old paradigm said, men, you are responsible for everything external and nothing internal. Then there was a shift in the paradigm. Hopefully I'm part of that, like, kickstarting that shift.
Yeah.
But what we have to do is let the paradigm catch up to those men who say, Michelle, there's a roof over my family's head. I'm making 6 figures. The kids are in private school. What the hell else do you want from me? I've done what I'm supposed to do in the paradigm that I was taught in, or I was raised in, or I have adopted. What they don't realize is the consequences of that paradigm were record rates of addiction, depression, anxiety, drug abuse, domestic abuse. Like, we can list, I jokingly and unjokingly say, men lead every negative statistic that doesn't have to do with breasts or ovaries. We lead all of them.
Wow.
Like, we're not doing that great. And yet, why is that? Because we've been entirely externally focused. And so when I can tell a guy, hey, guess what? We've been to the damn moon. We did it. We did the thing. Check on the external stuff. We've accomplished it. Now here's the new frontier. The new frontier is the inner landscape. Now, hear this carefully. It is going to require the same amount of courage, the same amount of adventure, the same amount of, holy crap, I can't believe we're about to do this, but we're going to do it energy to look inward and say, I think I may be in pain. I think that thing that happened when I was 10, that's still screwing me up. And I have worked, Michelle, with the most elite military, right? Elite military, who will say, no mission I ever went on is as hard as this work, or it requires as much courage as this much work. So to guys listening to this, one, saddle up. Like, and good, right? Like, you guys want to get bloody, you want to be a damn hero, good. Look inward. You're going to take some lumps here. You think you're tough? Cool. Come with me. We're not going to climb in a cage. We're going to go sit on a mat. And we're going to talk about your feelings. And you and I both know marketing. Let's sell the result. You will have a better life. You will have wild sex. You will make more money. You will be healthier. You will be more attractive. And if there was no opposite sex, if women just suddenly disappeared, which I don't want to happen at all, but if suddenly that did, guess what, guys? Your day-to-day existence would be radically better. That's hard for me to sell because it's intangible. But I tell guys, I don't sell abs, I don't sell sex, and I don't sell seven figures. Yet, if you do this work, you will get the abs, you will get the sex, and you will get the seven figures. You just won't burn it down after you get it.
Ooh, that's
really
important. Yes.
It seems really important to me as someone who burned it down.
Yeah.
Someone who had it all and burned it down. Someone who was miserable. And so, guys, also take a look at the result you're getting internally. Do you need to have a couple drinks every day to get through your week? I'm sorry, that's not normal.
No.
Do you need to jerk off 4 times a day or 4 times a week and not have sex with your wife? That's not normal. Do you need to get high? Do you need to work out twice a day? Do you need to have 5 different businesses and 40 different things happening? That's not, you are running from something.
Yeah.
You are running from your pain. Now, here's the other kicker, Michelle. So much of this work is framed as it's feminine, right? So like, God forbid we should do it. God forbid.
Yep. God forbid is right.
Because one of the male rules is we'd rather be dead than appear weak. So that's one of the old rules. The new rule is you got to do this work with men. I get men in a room full of men, and brothers, listen to me. Everything changes. I get men in a room full of men and one woman. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say this. No, it doesn't work the same way as it does when a guy goes, oh, wow, everybody in here kind of looks like me. They kind of smell like me. We kind of have the same features. Okay. For whatever reason, and I can't explain this, something happens to us where we go, okay, I'll do the work. And that dude, first guy that broke down and cried and sobbed and punched the pillow and screamed his guts out. For the first 10 seconds, I thought he was insane, but now I really know I need that. Because I can suddenly feel all of the burning rage, anger, grief, frustration, disappointment, like suddenly welling up in me. And I want that same relief. I want that same release. Intuitively, we're not dumb. Well, some of us are dumb, but not all of us are dumb. And so a lot of us know we've numbed ourselves to the point of getting to ignore what is true, which is we are hurting.
Yeah.
We haven't had a space. We haven't had permission. Brothers, listening to this, I'll give you the space. You have my permission. You have to work on your trauma. You have to work on your pain. And you have been untaught. Therefore, you are unskilled in the way of relationship, communication, and feeling.
Yeah.
So it's time to learn. There's no shame in learning. I didn't show up at my jujitsu school on the first day and go, hey guys, I just want to let you know that I have this all figured out, so I don't really need to take it. They were like, nope, get your ass on the mat. Oh, what do you know? You're terrible. You are the worst. I'm like, I know, it's my first day. Like, good, you should be the worst. But now here we are years later, and I get to choke people really well. So for people listening, like, it's okay that you don't know how to do this. But for women listening to this, you may not have skill, right? He may just not have the skill of what you're asking for. Or Michelle, he may not have the capacity, right? If I take my partner to a gym and I load 400 pounds on a barbell and I say, pick it up. She's like, I can't pick that up. And I go, if you love me, you would pick it up. I can pick it up. Why can't you? Well, like, why aren't you interested in deadlifting? Why aren't you the same as me? Right. And she has full agency. She's allowed to walk up to the bar. No one's stopping her. She just doesn't have the capacity. So I also ask men, hey, look at what's being asked of you and ask yourself, is this a capacity issue or is this a skill issue? Right. If my partner was like, I need you to be able to dunk a basketball, I'd be like, damn it, I'm not the right guy for you. But if she's like, I just need you to learn how to jump. I'd be like, okay, I think I can figure out how to leave the ground. And if not, I'm going to hire someone. Like, teach me how to leave the ground. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. That helped. I feel like I went on another tangent. I tend to go on tangents, Michelle. Sorry, I'm super excited to be here.
The things that I'm hearing about are more sex, which I don't know a man that doesn't talk about that.
Better sex.
Better sex. Better sex.
Not more.
Yeah, because a lot of people have yucky sex.
Exactly.
Better sex.
Disconnected sex.
Yeah.
So we can dive into, if you want to talk about sex, I'm happy to. We've pornographized sex in so many men's minds.
So sad. But men's, and I don't want to get up on this soapbox and go off on another tangent, but the little kids now with their cell phones, I don't want to go there, but
yeah,
we're really,
we're at a troubled point.
Very troubled. But yeah, you're right. And I don't want to, this is not a podcast to shame any man. I really hope people are, this is more about like, hey, we all, men and women, we all need to wake up. And if you want to have a healthy relationship, you've got to wake up.
Yeah.
You've got to look inward. You got to do your work. You've got to become uncivilized, male and female.
For sure.
Really, truly.
Your life will be exponentially better, because I also know how many men are starving for intimacy. Mm-hmm. How many men are starving from it from other men. Right. I have guys that join the program and then come out of it, or join the membership and come out of it and go, I don't want to sit in a room and talk about baseball either. I don't want to sit around and get drunk this weekend. I tried asking my friend, hey, how is your divorce? And he was like, it's fine. And then he cracked a beer. I know he's not fine.
Exactly.
And I want to share with him what's in my heart, and I want to hear what's in his. So it's not, a lot of men are going through the same growing pains around this that women are. Mm-hmm. I literally have guys reach out all the time and go, I read your book. Who do I talk to now? Right. I'm never been more lonely. Or actually what I realized is how lonely I've been all along. And that breaks my heart. Because I know I want those men to feel the same connection that I have with brothers, with women, with the planet.
Yeah.
Intimacy. We know what was missing in my marriage, Michelle, was intimacy. Yeah. And I was married to a woman, but it was missing from my guy friends. It was missing from my business partner. It was missing from my whole life.
Yeah.
Because no one taught me how to do it, how to foster it, how to create it, how to nurture it. And I was sold something different. I was sold, you will feel good when you get this.
Yes. When you make this amount of money, when you get married, when you do all of these external, everything's external.
And it's a cliche, because I was like, I remember going into therapy, and I was just about to swear. I was like, I am an effing cliche. And he was like, take a breath. You're not the only cliche. I was like, I'm that dude who's not like, I have to get high every day. I have to drink why aren't I happy with all of this? Yeah. Like, well, how do you feel? I was like, that's a dumb question. Why aren't I happy with all of this?
Yeah.
Oh, down the rabbit hole we go. Right? Like, feelings. I didn't hire you to talk about my damn feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, they are the juice. They are the foundation underneath a beautiful life. So we've also
the foundation to everything.
For everything.
We've got to connect with ourselves, and we do that through feeling our emotions before we can ever connect with anyone else.
Right? I ask guys, this is a brutal question, but I ask it anyway. Go look in the mirror. Do you like this guy? Do you respect this guy? Do you love this man? You have work to do. And I'm not framing it as work. You have to heal. Because until you can do that, how dare you ask anybody else to? And if they do, you won't believe them. And you will burn down your life to prove to them and to prove to you that you are unlikable, unrespectable, and unlovable. And that was programmed into so many men. It just breaks my heart on a daily basis.
Wow. I could talk to you all day. I love listening to you. You're just wonderful.
Thank you.
Tell us, where can people, okay, so let us know, first of all, what do you have going on, like workshop wise? If someone's listening and they go, oh, where would I meet this guy? What do I need to do? What do you
Sure.
have available? What do you got going? What do you have
First
going
of all,
on?
get your hands on my book, Man or
Mhm.
Woman. It's called
Yep.
Man Uncivilized.
I have it. It's
It's
upstairs. I was going to hold it
brilliant.
up.
And
Yes.
it is, I say that because of the response I've gotten to it
Yep.
from men, from women. I have women who put in their dating profiles, if you haven't read this book, please swipe left. It's like it just lays this foundation. You
Yeah.
can go to manuncivilized.com/the book. I'm on Instagram at Traver Boehm, TraverBoehm. That's where I do most of my talking and teaching. I have workshops throughout the year for men only. I partner with two brilliant therapists. One's a 70-year-old cowboy. The other is a 35-year-old wild man who like essentially lives in the woods year round, but they're brilliant therapists. And together we create this experience where men feel safe to actually dip their toe in this water, and they do it with other men. I have courses throughout the year, Michelle. One of my most interesting ones is called Kill the Nice Guy,
Ooh, I
where I
love that.
teach men how to not be codependent, how
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of this people pleasing, shape shifting, chameleon, I have no needs idea, and actually stand up and lead in the world. So that's hit my website, manuncivilized.com. Like, I'm not hard to find.
Okay.
And I engage with anybody who engages with me, because I'd love to say my mission is to change the way 1 million men express their masculinity. That's it. And I'm working on it. But it
Love
takes
it.
podcasts like this. It takes
Mm-hmm.
guys going, wait a minute, I don't really like the results I'm getting. I think I want to change. Or women saying, hi, I just left this book on your bedside table. Read it. Or actually, you know what? Just open it once.
Yeah.
If it doesn't grab your attention, don't read it. But it'll grab your attention.
It definitely will. I know men that have read your book too, and they're like,
Thank you.
this is really, really opened their eyes and then their hearts, like really woke them up. It really does. And I want to say that your book really does wake men up.
Thank you. That
You
was
know,
the point of it. Yeah.
yeah, because I think you're right. You know, when men talk to other men in general, right? They'll say, hey, how's it going? How's your divorce? How's your marriage? Hey, how is that? You know, your kid failed out of school. How's that for you? Oh, it'll be fine. Like, there isn't any, the depth is not there. So if the depth's not there with their best friends or their group of friends, how is it supposed to be there with their partner in their partnerships? And then again, where's the intimacy?
Right.
Where's the passion? It's not there.
Right. But so many men, Michelle, if I can add really quick,
please, yeah,
have been brutally shamed or even assaulted as kids for showing any kind of emotion. Why? Because the system we grew up in needed us to not feel. So again, now you have a 35-year-old who spent, age 5 to 15 getting beat up, assaulted, punched, called names, pushed in the dirt, made fun of, called all kinds of, and then we're like, hey man, I need you to feel.
Yeah.
So even with us, with each other, what's safe? We talk about logistics. We talk about statistics. We talk about everything that's from the neck up, because if we drop down to below the neck, we may get hurt physically. That's like in our systems. Yeah. Or it's a risk, right? It's risky to drop down there. But you know this as a teacher and a guide, and probably as a woman, like that's where the nutrition is. We men have lived on like the emotional version of cup noodle. And we're full and we're fat, but we're starving.
Yeah.
Right. We're undernourished.
So much of what we talk about in the adult chair, it's funny, what you just said is living chin down.
Right.
You got to live chin down. Chin up is not where it's at. That's where your masks are. That's where you're trying to rationalize everything. That's where logic, bring it down below the chin. That's where all the magic happens.
Yeah.
You got to get in the body and feel it.
It's like I tell guys, it's okay. I like football. I like to shoot guns. I like to do jujitsu. I like to talk about like existential stuff. I like boobs. I like women. I like Swedish. I like a normal dude. And I can talk about my emotions. So it's a yes and. I think a lot of guys also get scared that like, wait a minute. So if I feel my heart for the next time, like, am I going to be able to balance my checkbook? Like, yes. You don't like cut your head off. But, and I understand, because I remember thinking that, like, am I not going to be allowed to like cars if I start this path? Like, no, that's dumb. But it was, for whatever reason, I thought it was, a binary thing. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Gee,
Ah,
no more race cars, no more surfing. Just meditating all day long.
it's actually everything gets better. Like
Everything
you
gets
said,
better.
everything gets better.
Everything gets better. So I want to I'd love to just walk around the planet, grab men by the shoulders and be like, shake them, be like, everything gets better. Okay, who's next? Everything gets better. Okay, who's next? Everything gets better.
I love it. I love it. This was so good. Thank you. I'm like so grateful for your mission. I'm so grateful. Really.
Me
Thank
too.
you so much for what you're doing on this planet.
My
It is
pleasure.
so needed. It
Thank
is
you.
so needed. And I'm so excited for people to listen to this. So thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure, Michelle. Thank you for having me. I
Wonderful.
truly appreciate it.